an experiment that turned some humans into monsters. Their humanity was snatched from them. In a few days, they changed from normal human beings to these creatures. We can't see any muscles on their bodies. It looks like a thin layer of skin is stuck on their bones. It's really hard to imagine that a human can reach such a condition. So this is the story of the Russian sleep experiment. What happens when scientists push the human body to its peak? Before you stop this video out of fear, I would like to tell you that there are some things in this world that you should know about. But those things are not Russian sleep experiment at all. So we will talk about what that thing is in this video. And I am not here to scare you. It's not like I will tell you about this experiment and end the video. No. I will tell you something else as well. Or I should say that I will show you something. You might not have expected this. We will try to find out what is this Russian sleep experiment. Did it really happen or not? When I will explain you about this experiment, we will begin our research. And after listening to what I have found, you can lose your faith in YouTube. So, warning.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Let's start. 1940s Russian scientists were trying to solve a problem which, if solved, every human being would get 8 extra hours of sleep. The human body needs sleep every day. Exercise helps to shut that process off, so to speak. And that process, which helps to shut that down too. But if something develops that we don't need to sleep, then imagine how much time we will have left every day. And this extra time can be very critical in a war situation. That's why these scientists made a gas. And if this gas is constantly inhaled, then humans will stop getting sleep. But the problem is that this gas has not been tested on humans yet. All the things we have talked about so far are just in theory. We have only discussed the theory of the gas. And there is another problem, that this gas is poisonous, and there might be some side effects of this gas. And we will not know all these things until we test it on an actual human. But where did we get the test subject for this experiment? These are some political prisoners who are locked up in the Russian prisons. They are offered a 30-day free experiment. They have to stay in a chamber for 30 days. They will be provided with food and shelter. They will have a stock of food and shelter for a month. They will have a good toilet and a lot of books to read. There is only one thing missing in this room. There is no bed sheet or pillow in this room, because they don't have to sleep for 30 days. So if these prisoners agree to this experiment, they will be released from jail in return. And all charges will be forgiven. So for this experiment, 5 prisoners are accepted. Now we call them as test subjects. So we will be doing experiments on 5 subjects which will last for 30 days. All 5 test subjects are locked in a field chamber where there is no airflow. Now all the air that will come in this room will be monitored by the scientists and sent in this chamber with that gas. The scientists will monitor the room and send the gas to the room. And this gas will stop those 5 people from sleeping. There are a lot of microphones in this chamber which are used to record the conversations of these test subjects, so that we can know what changes are occurring in a person's behavior if he keeps waking up. Along with this, there is a big one-way mirror in this room, which the scientists keep an eye on these test subjects. We only see one change. As the days went by, the people who were talking to each other, it was getting more and more dark. These people were discussing about the most traumatic event of their life. But as the 5th day of these people passes, these people stop talking to each other, and the microphones in the room start whispering. They were whispering in the microphone, which the scientists could not understand. And this thing continues for the next 2-3 days. But on day 9, there is a very interesting thing. A test subject starts screaming. He was screaming with full power, and he was not stopping. And he was screaming continuously for 3 hours. Do you want to hear how he was screaming? Can anyone speak in front of Elvis? And he screamed until his vocal cord gets damaged. But the other 4 test subjects didn't care about the screaming. They continued their whispering. But after a while, another test subject started screaming too. But the test subjects who were not screaming at that time, they all go to the one-way mirror, which the scientists keep an eye on them. And they tear the pages of all the books in this room and stick those papers on the mirror by mixing them with their poop so that scientists can't keep an eye on them. But as soon as they block the view of the scientists, all the sounds from that chamber stop coming. Tragic. Now, no test subject was making any sound, and for the next 3 days, no sound came from this room. Scientists thought in the beginning that it seemed that everyone was not dead. Now it was day 14. These 5 test subjects haven't slept for the last 14 days. And now the scientists are not able to see them, and neither are they talking. No one knows anything about it. We only know one thing, that everyone is alive. So what is the point of this research if we are not able to observe those test subjects? So that is why on day 14, scientists make an announcement in that chamber, and they say that they are going to open the chamber to test the microphone and to clean the one-way mirror. And all these test subjects are told to stay away from the door and lie on the floor and not to do any suspicious activity. And if any test subject does not comply with this, he will be shot dead right there. But if these people agree, then one of these test subjects will be given freedom right now. After a long discussion, a voice came from this chamber which said that we don't want freedom anymore, we want to stay in this room. And after that, the chamber became silent again. Researchers try a lot to make the 5 people do some activity in this chamber, but all their attempts fail. Those 5 test subjects maintain their silence. Day 15. Scientists say that this is not going to work. We have to go to that chamber. So, after 15 days, the chamber's gate opens for the first time. The gas is removed from that chamber and normal air is made again, so that normal people can also enter that room. As soon as the gas is removed from that chamber, the test subjects start screaming. They scream loudly and say, "Please don't remove the gas. If we remove the gas, we won't be able to live." Basically, they were addicted to gas. But still, the gas is removed, and some soldiers are sent to the chamber, and they see that only 4 out of 5 are alive. And we can barely call the 4 people alive, the test subjects who died. All the drainage holes were blocked. This caused the floor to be filled with water up to 4 inches. It was very difficult to tell how much blood was in the water, how much water was in the body, and how much fluid was in the body. The remaining 4 test subjects had a lot of injuries on their bodies which they had done with their own hands. I will not tell you how those injuries were done or how they were made, I won't tell you. Along with this, these test subjects haven't eaten anything for the last few days, except for one thing. There was no shortage of food in the room. Even then, they were eating their own body parts. Now, these subjects were enjoying living in this room. They were already addicted to gas. Along with that, they were also liking the environment of this chamber. When the soldiers tried to get these 4 test subjects out of the chamber, they all became very violent. These test subjects suddenly attacked the soldiers. One of the soldiers died there. These test subjects looked very weak, but I don't know where all this strength was coming from. To control these test subjects, they are given a lot of injections so that they become unconscious, but those injections don't work on them, so they are being operated on in the same way, while they are conscious. And they were enjoying the cuts that were being done. They kept smiling throughout the surgery, which looked very creepy. There was only one demand of these test subjects, that they have to go back to the chamber and inhale the gas again. But the researchers were not agreeing to this. But the military commander said that we should continue this research and put all the subjects back in the chamber. As soon as the test subjects heard this, they stopped resisting. But the problem was that till this time, only one test subject was alive. And what happened to the other subjects, you can pause and read. I am not telling you because I want to monetize this video. Because now only one test subject was alive, the commander said that we will also lock some of our researchers in that chamber with this test subject so that our research could continue. But those researchers knew that if they were locked in that chamber, they would never be able to come out of it. Their entire life would be over, and they would also be converted into monsters. So, to save their lives, one researcher took a gun in his hand and shot the commander, and he shouted loudly, "I will not be locked in that chamber with that test subject no matter what you do." Until this time, the last remaining test subject looked like this. So this was the whole Russian sleep experiment. But wait, the video is not yet over. There are millions of people who think that the Russian sleep experiment was actually done, but this is not the reality. Are you also one of those people who used to think that this experiment was actually done in the past? So write a yes in the comments. See, this whole story came to light in 2010. There is a website named Creepypasta Wiki. This story started becoming popular from here, and most probably the origin of this story happened here. It means that someone has written this story. This is not a historic event. Let's assume that something like this has happened in the past. Then why doesn't the government talk about it? Forget about the government. Government must be covering up their mistakes. Why doesn't any well-known media talk about it? Now you will say, forget all this. What about that photo? That photo is real, right? No and yes. That means this photo is real, but it is also fake. First, we correct the lighting a little, and now we will see it better. But before that, stop being scared. Look at this quietly. It looks like a human which has become very skinny. But look at its teeth. Humans don't have such teeth. No matter how skinny you become, your teeth won't be like this. So, is this editing? No, there is no editing in this. When I searched a little more, I found a clear photo. Now, what is this? This is a statue. If you click a photo of this statue in low light, it will look realistic. I checked the price on eBay and it is selling from 600, so if I get 100,000 likes on this video, I will purchase this statue and sleep with it alone in a dark room. And you think that if I purchase this and I won't be able to throw it away because I have purchased such an expensive thing, so I will have to keep it in my house even if I don't want to, carefully, and who would want to keep such a thing in their house? By the way, there is one more condition, that I should have money to purchase this. So if you feel in future that I have a lot of money, then remind me in the comments that I should have purchased this thing too.